Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Today we're jumping back into some malicious compliance. Before we start, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's completely free and you can always change your mind later. But if you stick around, there just might be some tasty cookies in your near future. Alright, our first story today comes to us from Cole Carmot, Bleeding IT Dry. Malicious compliance in the print hub. Let's jump right in. I currently work in a print hub and mentioned in a previous post that malicious compliance kind of just comes with the job. Here is another one that I just learned the outcome for this week. I had been on medical leave for quite some time. During that time, a number of systems and programs we used changed. In particular, our online systems for business cards and similar products had changed. The way the system was before my leave was that when a customer uploaded the file, the system would slightly stretch the file to include a bleed. If a file was submitted with a bleed, nothing would be done. For those not in the know, a bleed on a print file is an excess of the image in the design that is meant to be cut off. Most business cards have colored blocking for style, and this ensures that there is no ugly, uneven white edge on the finished product. Essentially, it allows the customer to get what they envision. Astute readers would realize our old system could cause issues, however, especially when writing or images are close to borders. Information could be cut off due to being over the bleed line after the image was stretched. As such, we as workers knew that a change was going to happen. This change happened during my medical leave, as the online system was updated to allow more customizations. When the customers uploaded files, they were presented with a digital canvas where they could change their text and images on their file. Two boxes were presented on this canvas, one box showing the finished size of the product and one showing the bleed we needed to ensure a proper cut. The problem is, the system no longer automatically stretched the provided file to the finished size, and certainly not to the bleed size. The new system allows the customers to properly fit themselves, but rarely do they size it to bleed. As such, when we print and cut the finished product, there is often this ugly white band on two of the sides, as the cutting system is all automated, and without those bleeds, there will always be problems. Additionally, our large guillotine cutter is constantly in use for orders that need it, and to reprogram it and interrupt orders to trim a millimeter off every order was unreasonable. My manager, who will be named D, brought this to the attention of the system admins and IT, but was pretty much dismissed. He was told to push those orders that did not have bleed into problem status, and they would take a look at the problem. Also, to send a list of problem orders still not handled at the end of each week. When I returned to work 3 months ago, I was given a rundown of everything that was new, including this new problem. I followed this malicious compliance currently in progress, none the wiser to what D was doing, pushing the orders without bleed into problem status, which was quite a fair amount to be honest. I didn't really think much about it, however. Towards the beginning of this month, D had asked me to scan in February's problem orders, easily 500 orders, ensure each problem was its own separate file, then file them in a filing cabinet out back. I have read and listened to horror stories about office scanning, but I don't really have an issue where I am, as we have high-capacity automated scanners, so this was no issue. I did as I was told, in the folder they told me to put it in, on the shared computer, and then went to file it. There were over thousands of problem orders stuck in limbo due to this bleed issue in this filing cabinet. Not only did this likely make us look bad to head office, but the customers were probably pissed. When I asked D what was going on with this issue, he explained everything and informed me of his plan. It turned out IT intended to do nothing about this bleed problem. They wanted us as production to fix the problem, which meant designing. The design team gets paid a lot more than we in production though, and as we weren't being paid that wage, D was having none of it. He was told each week to send in all orders that haven't been fixed as of yet, so he was. D and the supervisor created a program that would submit each problem order as a ticket to IT, one at a time, at the end of the week. Previously, they had sent everything in as one ticket. This is why they had me scan each problem order as its own file, rather than just a single PDF with everything in it. This program ran on Friday late afternoon, just before IT's weekend started. D knew IT needed to acknowledge all problem tickets before they left the office. Every 15 seconds, a new problem ticket popped up and they needed to acknowledge it, all 500 files, before they left. I don't know exactly how well it worked, but it certainly worked. 2 hours, 5 minutes, after hours at least, depending how fast their PCs are. I did the math, and that's only the stuff that I scanned myself. From my understanding, D and Supervisor had also decompiled the files they had already submitted and resubmitted them as well. After the first week, the regional manager, who is a really cool guy, we'll call him Ray, stopped by to check in and asked why IT was cursing D's name, and D explained it. Ray said in no uncertain terms, if they haven't done anything about the jobs by the end of the week, you should follow up. Wink. At the end of the last week, D set up the program to ask for updates on each of the problem jobs, as well as the program to submit new problem jobs from last week, and set it to run. When we came in this Monday, we got an update from IT that the system had been adjusted, and customers should not be able to submit jobs anymore that do not have borders meeting the bleed line. We still have some issues, as reorders can override this fix, but it's been a lot better now, and this week has been extremely productive. D, meanwhile, came into his email having over 20 unread messages, and over 500 junk mail as the spam filter kicked in. Each message was the program's response asking for an update, with the first few responses from IT being, "We are still looking into it," and the later responses simply being the letter A. There is still the matter of the order still stuck in limbo, so there may be an update, but the main compliance has been settled. Now, OP added an edit at the bottom here. It says, Edit 1. The reason why this problem was not fixed before was all the other locations were doing workarounds to fix the problems themselves. We were the only location making a stink about the issue, as the workaround was outside the scope of our paycheck, so it was considered low priority. Still does not excuse them, but they changed their tune in the end. Down in the comment section for this one, there's one from a user called Lo Tessa. It says, "Yes, so satisfying. D is my hero." OP responded to this one and said, "There are horror stories of people coming off leave to new managers and staff, but I am extremely fortunate that all the problem staff ended up leaving my place of work and replaced by a really close-knit crew. Although I am sad my previous manager is gone, D and Ray are absolutely fantastic. Their motto is, no one wants to work in a dull place. As long as your work is done and done correctly, do what you want. Morale is at an all-time high." Another user down below commented with this name that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. It says, "Your workload moving forward will also be lighter as some of the customers who got their time wasted will go somewhere else." OP responded to this one as well and said, "I am willing to bet that a lot of those orders in the system were already complete or cancelled. By this story, I'm sure you can tell, IT for this company are not the brightest. In addition to this issue, they also don't properly clear their tickets on their end. When they get new files or fix the issue, a new job ticket is submitted rather than the current job ticket being altered. Then they would need to link the new job ticket and the problem. When the new job ticket gets cleared, the problem ticket is cleared as well. I am processing upwards to 100 jobs a day, so I can't recognize all orders pushed into problem, but as we have not received any consequences or word from head office, I am assuming we were still running the orders at some point and customers receiving their orders even if they weren't clearing from the system. Okay, I can't help myself, but does those white lines on the edges of my business card mean that I'm on the bleeding edge of my field? Okay, something to think about. This is a system that they used to replace a system that was doing an okay job. Sure, it cut off some of their print jobs, but it sounds to me like it was having a lot less problems than the new system was. So when they realized there was a problem with the new system that was causing a massive issue, they should have just rolled back to the old system. It would have been a lot easier until IT or whoever could rewrite that new system to make it work properly. Our next story today comes to us from Scarlet Witch 713. Don't want to follow the rules of the log haul road? Sure, go right on through. Let's jump right in. Longtime lurker, been debating posting this. I tried to keep it short while providing context. For context, I, 27 female, work for a small, local security company. We mainly do oil and gas and logging roads. I typically work pipeline security, but I'm between sites at the moment waiting for spring breakup, when the ground starts to thaw and heavy equipment and trucks can't operate because this is swampland. Before breakup, they've got a 24/7 log haul happening on one of the big logging roads in our area. Now, because of this, traffic going against the log trucks is being restricted by us. I sit down at the far end of the log road and control who can go through the wrong way. This is limited to 3 companies and their subcontractors because their sites are close to my end of the road and they don't interfere with log trucks. Any company that is in violation of this rule receives a $10,000 fine, and their road use privileges are affected. In this case, they can still only travel one way on the road once breakup hits and the log haul has to stop, until the logging company says otherwise. One company in particular has been one massive pain this whole time. Let's call them Stupid Incorporated, for privacy reasons. Now, Stupid Inc. site sits about halfway down the log road. They have to go down to the far end of the road and drive the same direction as the log trucks. Well, they don't bother telling their subcontractors this, so all day, every day, I'm busy turning these guys away. One morning last week, this big pickup rolls up, and I ask the usual of, "Where are you headed?" He gave me the kilometer number of where the site is. It's Stupid Inc. Only he gives me a different company name, a subcontractor. We'll call that one Prick Company. I informed the guy that he couldn't go this way, and he lost it. Starts cursing and swearing, yelling about how it's complete BS, and I shouldn't be allowed to do this. He tells me he's gone this way down the road plenty of times when he's not working, and it's never been an issue. The thing is that private users, so just regular people, are technically allowed. Legally speaking, we can't stop them as roads are public to a degree. There's a whole thing that I'm not going to get into. Private users are allowed to use the road, though we strongly caution against it. Alright then, I'm a private user and you can't stop me. You just told me that you're here for work, but alright, if you say so, you've been warned. And he floors it on down the road. What followed was a 4-day manhunt. I immediately notified the road patrol supervisor, as well as road patrol and my boss. I was asked questions for 4 days while they tried to identify this guy. Because he said he was going to work for Stupid Inc., they got hit with the fine. Of course, this didn't go over well with them either. Next thing I know, the site superintendent is asking me tons of questions about the guy. When I said he worked for Prick Company, well, that didn't go over well. From my understanding, Prick Company was at risk of losing the contract they had with Stupid Inc. over this. Prick Company then started digging around, and I heard they found out who it was, and the guy lost his job over it. The kicker? He wasn't even working for Stupid Inc. that day. The superintendent told me they didn't have Prick Company out working on anything. One of his employees had seen the truck I described way on the other side of Stupid Inc.'s site. He hadn't even stopped there. As far as anyone knows, he actually was there as a private user, and had he just said as much, none of this would have happened. OP added a long edit on after this one. It says, "Apparently I need to clear up a couple of things. It's not like the guy said, yeah, I work for this company but I'm off today. I get that a lot actually and never have an issue with it. The guy specifically told me he worked for Prick Company and was working down at Kilometer X, which was the location for Stupid Inc. I asked him to confirm the company he was headed to work for, and he specifically named Stupid Inc. I told him that company and their subcontractors were not allowed to go that way, and he started yelling and swearing at me. During his hissy fit, he said he's been down that road several times when not working. I told him that private users, so individuals not there on behalf of a company, legally can't be stopped. It's a legal gray area. Yes, it's stupid. But private user equals not there representing a company equals can go. Employees and subcontractors equals there to do work on behalf of a company equals cannot go. After explaining this, he got all smug looking and declared he was a private user. He thought he'd found a loophole. It wasn't like he said, well, I'm actually not here for work today, I just do work for this company. Instead, he was a straight up butthole about the entire situation, and very clearly lied to my face about being a private user. Again, I don't know why he was truly there. I never found out. All I know is he lied to my face, gave me trouble, which is another finable offense actually, but that's a whole other thing, and thought he'd found a loophole. The way the situation itself played out, I guarantee based on the information given to me by him that I was not confused on the matter. Also, when I say 4-day manhunt, what I mean is that it took 4 days for the various companies to figure out exactly who this guy was, as he didn't give me a name. And it's an incredibly common truck description. He didn't vanish into the woods never to be seen again. Apologies for any confusion there. I was never hoping the guy would lose his job. Honestly, I wanted him to get chewed out as a nice bit of karma. This dude was nasty, very colorful language, and at 6:10 a.m., I was so not in the mood to get screamed at. I knew about the fine, which is why I said, "You've been warned," prior to him taking off. I knew that things were going to be ugly for him when the boss got their hands on him. I did not hope or really expect he would lose his job. I can't deny that I do feel a tiny sliver of satisfaction because guys like this need to be taken down several pegs, but I also feel bad that it cost him his job. I believe this would be a case of F around and find out, and I sincerely hope he's learned something from this and will be nicer to people just doing their jobs in the future. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, there's one from a user called Stabmaster. It says, "So he knew that as a private user, you wouldn't be allowed to stop him. Yet for some reason, he thought it was a good idea to lie about why he was there, even though it was completely unnecessary and places liability on himself, his company, and whoever he's out there working for. Sounds like all you did was speed up the natural conclusion of him getting himself fired, and he probably blames you for it entirely." OP responded to this one and said, "Yeah, I have no idea what the heck was going through his mind, but 100% he blames me. Haha. Those types always blame someone else." Check out both OPs linked in the description down below. I thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.